Hello everyone, glad you can make it today. We're going to start our painting today by painting it white. Wait. Okay, we're already done. Ooh, liquid white. So liquid white is a mixture. It's a magic mixture. I'm not supposed to tell you about it, but anyway, it's a mixture. And you put it on your canvas and it actually helps the paint flow nice and smooth. So we're going to put a little bit on here. Just applying it with a palette knife. And then smooth it out a little better with the brush. Okay, so that works. If we need more, there's a little more left. Okay, so what I'm doing now is just making it thin. I'm going to make it nice and smooth. We have to cover the entire canvas. With this particular painting, it's going to be nice to actually have a nice smooth finish. And without this liquid white, a lot of times what happens is the paint goes on a little thick. It makes it a little bit more difficult, or actually a lot more difficult, to actually spread it around. How's that look? Okay, I'm done. Alright, I think we're good there. Now, I'm going to go through some colors for you. So we have cad yellow, we have yellow ochre, yes, I always forget the name of that one. And we have titanium white, there's more cad yellow, and this is actually a permanent red. This is actually a violet, just called violet. It's violet. Burnt umber and Prussian Blue. So I have both phthalo blue and Prussian Blue. I'm going to use this for the mountains mostly, and this is going to be used for the sky and a little bit of the water. And alright, let's get started. First of all, let's jump right in and get a little bit of this Prussian Blue. I'm going to mix it up here. This is our sky. Now it's nice when you add deeper color to the corners. And the reason for this is it actually helps draw your eye inwards. A little bit more. So now with the original 2-inch brush, I'm just going to blend this. Get rid of all the streaks. And make it look like a nice, pleasant sky. You'll see me turning the brush a lot. I like using that technique to actually blend the paints together. Seems to work really well. Now, it's already starting to look like a sky. Now, depending on how good your imagination is, you can start seeing clouds in there already. Are you seeing that? Not yet? Okay. So we need a little bit more. Alright, let's put some in here. A little bit more here. A little bit here. Now I'm using this technique because I like to leave more of the paint there and not blend it in as much. So the smaller brush and smoother strokes actually help that to happen. Alrighty. So now, as far as I'm concerned, it looks like there's a little bit of a sky in there. Now we're going to add some clouds. And for the clouds, I like to use this number 8 brush. So it gives me a little bit more control. I'm going to take this and add a tad bit of the red. So we don't want pure white. A lot of people, when it comes to art, say pure colors right out of the tube. Terrible. So we're going to make them happy too. Alright, so let's put some clouds in here. So right here you can see there was kind of a cloud looking thing. So let's go ahead and drop some clouds in there. Some more right up through here. Just adding a little bit more titanium white. It's always nice to have some variables. Gives it character. Or something like that. Okay. Now up towards the top here, it's kind of nice to have a little bit more white popping through. And you're going to see what happens with that here in a moment. Alright. Okay. So now we got to blend it. So let's go back to our 2-inch brush. And let's blend away. So I'm taking the bottom corner and just kind of mixing up the bottom part so it blends in. I'm trying to stay away from the outside edge. Which gives it more of a cloudy look. Now you can put as many in here as you want. Just give you an idea. Now, taking a brush like this, we're just smoothing it out, getting rid of some of the brush strokes, and it also gives it a what do you call it, misty look, so cloudy look, which is what we're looking for. So voila. Alright, so we have our cloudy sky. Let's add a little bit more clouds right up through here. Clouds always give your painting interest. And back to the blender brush, or my 2-inch brush. There. That easy. So now we got some clouds. Now what are we gonna do? Let's add some color to this. Because if you guys know me and you've been following me at all, I like color. I've done a ton of pictures from when I was younger in just black and white. And I tell you, after I got introduced to paints, which I thank Bob Ross for that, I started adding more color to my pictures and loving it ever since. So, there we go. Now, what are we going to do? Blend it in. Now this we want to blend a little bit better than the clouds above. So, in this case we're just kind of adding color. Let's add a little more of the permanent red. I'm going to take it right up through here. So of course with the clouds it gives it a nice pink look. Softer. You don't see much red in clouds. Every once in a while you do with some really nice rich sunsets. So Of course, that's not what we're doing right now, so it's not going to look really good with the red. So let's blend it in nice, and we'll give it a pink look. All right. There we go. So now, we need to grab our palette knife. And wipe it off, because we got some of that special magic liquid white on there, which we don't want. So now, we're going to go to the Prussian Blue. Prussian Blue is actually a really rich color. So, and it is darker than the Prussian Blue. Whoops, phthalo blue. Yeah, I got this. Now it's funny, I don't deal with the paints a lot as far as what they're called and all that good stuff. I know what I'm looking for, and then I grab it. So I apologize that I don't know all the names like I probably should. But if you stick with me, that'll get better, because, you know, I need to know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, so right now we're just adding a mountain. Now we're going to be fancy with this. Yeah, who wants to be fancy? So we're going to scrape all of this off, right? We don't need a whole lot of this. And there's a special effect that I want to try to show you. So we're just going to leave that here. Take the big blender brush, and then we're going to just tap it. Makes it softer. Okay, now we're going to drag it. We don't want to drag it a whole lot. We don't want to way down here and all this, because we want it to seem like there's some fog underneath the mountain. So just blend it a little. Okay. So I think we're good. Now, there's a couple spots that I want to touch up a tad bit. So I'm just taking a dry brush, going over the area that I'm not 100% happy with, you know, just to clean up some edges. I don't really have to do this, because after we do the next layer, it's going to cover this up pretty good. But take a little bit more Prussian Blue. Put it right up here. Alright. So we'll wash that brush really quick. Now, let's go another step and add some white, some titanium white in through here. I wanted to give it a foggy effect. Here. Okay. So now we'll get the blender brush again, so the 2-inch brush, and we'll brush up just to smooth it out a little. Okay. So now we're going to have some fun. So again, because we have Prussian Blue on this palette knife, we don't want it to be that concentrated, so just cleaning the knife off real fast. And now we need to go to some titanium white and a little bit of phthalo blue. So we're going to mix up just a light mixture. You can even add a little bit of red. A little more red, a little bit more phthalo blue. There we go. And if you mix it all the way, it's not bad, but it's sometimes better if you don't. So it gives it more variation. So now, take some more of this titanium white. And it's got a little bit of phthalo blue in there. Not a whole lot. Just a little. Okay. So now we're going to roll it out. Oops. I don't want that red on there. Alright. So we'll grab just a small bit. Alright. Then we'll go up to the mountain. We'll just let the palette knife glide down. And see how it breaks like that? Gives it a nice effect. Makes it look like there's snow up there. I'm going to grab a little bit more and bring it over here and do the same thing. Alright, so now we did the titanium white with a little bit of the phthalo blue, just a tad bit, and then still had a little mixture of the red in there. So we're just going to go ahead and take a little bit of this and put it on the palette knife. And this is going to be the shadow. So you put it on the back side. Same way. I think that part looks good. We'll take the blender brush, or the 2-inch brush, and we're going to tap it. This is going to soften it up. Give it a more appealing look. And then if you brush up, it'll also help. Alright, so I think we got that. Now, we'll clean off the knife again because we don't have enough mountains. So, now, again, back to the Prussian Blue. We just need a little bit. We're going to put some mountains through here. So let's start right around here. Drag it down. Do it again. Drag it down. You make these mountains any way you want. Make these big, go all the way across the holes in here. So I'm scrubbing this in there. paint to stay. And this canvas is really durable, as you can tell. The one thing you don't want is a lot of extra paint. So, scrape it off. Now, you'll never guess what we're going to do now. Yeah, go to the blender brush. Now these mountains are closer than the ones in the back. It's nice with the layering, it gives it more of a 3D look, I guess. And for those of you who have noticed, I'm not Bob Ross. Yeah, I kind of figured you'd notice that. Bob Ross is pretty awesome. Always wanted to learn how to paint. Never liked the idea that oil paint was so permanent. At least that's what I felt. And I'll tell you, it wasn't the easiest thing to get started. So I drew a lot of pictures, worked with charcoal. I just want to blend this in. I think I'm going to go back to the palette knife a little bit more. And add a little bit more color here. So yeah. Because Bob Ross had got me into it, or feeling confident enough about it, I can actually paint. And for me to have the idea that I can actually teach anybody how to do it, can't say that was on the top of my list. One of my other favorites, of course, is Thomas Kincaid. Always loved the cottages and stuff that he's done. Just so relaxing when you look at his pictures. Okay, just going to smooth this out a little bit. Okay, so now if you look at it, you can see some ridges in there, which gives it definition, kind of looks like a bunch of hills and stuff through the mountains. And now, again, we'll go back to, I'm going to wipe off the palette knife. We'll go back to the white with a phthalo blue. We're going to add a little bit more this time, because we're going to do a little bit different effect on this one. Same kind of idea. Just I want these to pop a little bit more. So we're going to put a little up through here. Right up through here. Okay. So that was the shadow color primarily that we used up towards the top. So the reason I did it on the bottom is we want these to be a tad bit more vibrant. So what I'm going to do now is go right into the titanium white and give these mountains some nice bright snowy peaks. So again, wipe off the palette knife, into your white. Let's start right about here. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, yes, blend it again. So, I just want to get more of the bottom, not so much the top. We're gonna leave the top virtually the way it is. Okay. So now, how are we gonna do this bottom part? Now we're gonna take some pink, permanent red, titanium white. We're going to mix it in through here. We don't want this to be crazy vibrant. We want it to be a light shade. But we do want to blend it in really nice. The sides can be darker, the middle can be lighter. I'm just kind of scrubbing this in there, but I'm going left to right. I don't really want to go up and down because this is going to be water, and the side-to-side effect for brush strokes gives it a nice smooth look. Or if you go up and down, kind of does some weird things to your water. Doesn't quite look right. Now there are some variations. You can see it lighter here, pink here, a little bit more darker here and here. The cool part, water does the same thing. Okay, so now we're going to add just a tad bit of phthalo blue. Let's take that same 1-inch brush. Go in the phthalo blue, and now we're going to bring it in from the sides, just a little. Do the same thing on the other side. And again, water, when you're looking at the pictures and stuff, a lot of times it actually looks darker on the sides. But again, the reason for this is it helps draw your attention towards the inside of the screen or your picture. Okay. Just blend it in. I don't want the brush strokes in there, but I do want the color in there. So we're just going to blend it out. Now for the fun stuff. We need to add some land in here. We also need to add some trees. So I'm going to take a mixture of the Prussian Blue, Phthalo Blue, we want this to be dark. So now let's take some of that violet and mix it in here. It's getting there. Add a little bit of the burnt umber, a little bit more. Just going to need some more paint. So I like the color, so we're going to need a lot of it here. Alright. Now mix this up good. So now, 1.5 inch brush, just gonna dab the paint, get a lot in the bristles, right? Because you're gonna be using this a lot. Right. So now, just gonna go right up through here. Now we're going to put a big old tree in here. So to be more accurate, I am going to use, this is a number 6 fan brush. So we're going to use the same paint, but now we can actually go ahead and start doing some details. So right now I'm just going kind of back and forth. Fan brush is really good for this. Do another one right up through here. Right there. Okay. One up through here. So you can start off this way if you want. It's adding more trees. Can never have enough of those. With this technique, it makes it kind of easy. Up through here. Alright. So now we need a couple on the other side. So now, you can mix up a little bit more paint. Alright, good. Have more paint. I'm going to a different fan brush. This one's a little smaller than the other one, so you can do finer detail. Keep that in mind, so when you're doing trees and stuff for the background, if you do it with a big brush, at least me, you can't really, unfortunately it's too big, it just doesn't look right. It throws it out of proportion. And when you see the stuff far away, of course the detail is smaller. So this way, you can do smaller detail. So again, we're going to do another tree right up through here. And just go side to side. Pretty simple. If you want to make it darker, put some more detail in there. It makes it easy. Now let's put some little guys in there. Sounds like these are way off in the background. Or just smaller. Another one right here. Little guy right next to it. Another one right up through here. So when you look at a lot of trees, you don't normally just see one, right? So when you're looking at the woods or a forest or something like that, so you gotta add some more trees. So I mixed up some phthalo blue and a little cad yellow, and we're going to add a little bit of green to these trees. So again, I'm using the smaller fan brush. Of course, we need a tree trunk. Go right up through the middle. Same thing there. So now we're going to add some grassy area. We're going to do that right in front of these trees. So taking my 1.5 inch brush, dabbed it into the green and yellow, blue and yellow paint that I mixed to be green. We're just going to dab it on there. Pretty simple. I keep some of this blue right through here. It's kind of nice giving it some contrast. Cousin likes when I do this. Dab, dab, dab. Alright, so now for some fun stuff. Let's take some dark blue. Again, the original mixture that we had. I'm going to pretend we have reflections down here. Don't forget the other side. Now to make this part really work, you have to grab the paint up at the top and swipe it down. Straight down. Then lightly go over it side to side. And this way it blurs it a little. And gives it a watery effect. I'm going to add a little bit of titanium white. Give it a little bit of sparkle. Just a little bit, not too much. So just putting it here where I want it to be. So doing it with a smaller brush, you can control it a little bit better. So then again, with the brush, bring it straight down. And just blend it together. Bit more color through here. A little bit titanium white, a little bit more of the red. And then we'll blend it. Now, gonna add some more grass. So now we're going to take a little bit of yellow ochre and mix it with some of our burnt umber. So similar to the mountain, we're just touching it with a little bit of the titanium white mixed with the brown that we just had here. That way it gives it a nice ground effect. I'm going to use a little bit of lamp black. I'm going to make some dark scenes up here in the very front to add some shrubbery. So I'll mix it with our blue mixture that we had. So using a little thinner, I'm going to add it to the yellow and green. We need a nice thin paint. So now we can add some bushes. That easy. A little bit more thinner. Add some more plants up here. I want to make it look like there's shadows underneath the plants. So you want to be really careful with this, because if you use too much, you'll kill it. So you don't want to do that. Now we're going to go ahead and put some branches in here. So what I'm doing is taking a palette knife and just scraping the canvas. Looks like there's some twigs down here. A few more in here. Nice part with this is if you take your time, you can actually do some pretty good detail. same thing up here. Now we're going to take the palette knife again, just touch a tad bit of the yellow that was mixed in with the blue. We don't want a whole lot of blue. Sorry, cadmium white. I'm sorry. Titanium white. I can do this. Okay. Just put it in there. So now we have a water line. So you can pretty much manipulate this and get it where you want to. If you mix it in with the paint, it mixes in really well on the shore, of course. Which lets you tweak it a little bit. So now, I go back to this brush. Add some more green. So just using a fan brush. So I'm taking a little thinner and mixing it into the green mixture that we have to make it really thin. And I'm using a number 2 liner brush. So you almost want to get it to be like as thin as ink. And then what I like to do is roll it into a nice tip. And that takes off some of the excess paint. And then you can just go ahead and do brush. So we'll have some brush coming out of here. High grass, weeds. Helps make it a little more natural. more flavor. You can even add some brown. If there's anything you don't want, just dab it with the brush. That was for you, cuz. So I'm going to go back to the brown again, mix it kind of thin. Gonna add a little extra detail to the land. So, go in through here. So give it a little bit of depth. And again, you can spend as little or as much time as you want on these. If you're anything like me, you're always going to find something that needs to be done, or you wish you did. And sometimes it's a little things like this that can make a big difference. Okay, so with that, I think we're done. My name is Naso. Thank you for joining me today.